Are environment class 10 important? Questions with answers science. Question 1. Why is the maximum concentration of pesticides found in human beings? Answer. The pesticides are not biodegradable. They get accumulated progressively at each trophic level. As human beings occupy the topmost level in food chain, their concentration becomes maximum in our bodies. Question 2. Give one method which could be applied to reduce our intake of pesticides through food to some extent. Answer. By using biological methods for controlling insects in fields and by washing fruits and vegetables before eating could help to reduce our intake of pesticides through food to some extent. Question 1. What is an ecosystem? Answer. An ecosystem is defined as a structural and functional unit of the biosphere. It comprises of living organisms and their non-living environment that interact by means of food chains and biogeochemical cycles resulting in energy flow, biotic diversity and material cycling to form stable self-supporting system. Question 2. Why is a lake considered to be a natural ecosystem? Answer. Lake is an ecosystem where living organisms grow, reproduce and interact among each other as well as with abiotic components and carry out other activities in nature by themselves without any human interference. Therefore, it is referred to as a natural ecosystem. Question 3. In the following food chain, plants provide 500 joules of energy to rats. How much energy will be available to hawks from snakes? Plants, rats, snakes, hawks. Answer. In an ecosystem, only 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to next, i.e. 10% law and rest is dissipated into the environment. Therefore, if plants, being producers, 1 cent trophic level, transfer 500 joules of energy to rats, second trophic level, then rats would transfer 50 joules of energy to snakes, third trophic level, which in turn will transfer only 5 joules of energy to hawks, fourth or last trophic level, in a food chain. Question 4. In the following food chain, 100 joules of energy is available to the lion. How much energy was available to the producers? Plants, deer, lion. Answer. As per 10% law of flow of energy in an ecosystem, only 10% of energy is received by the next trophic level. Hence, in the given food chain, if 100.J of energy is available to lion, the plants or producers have 10,000 joules of energy available to them. Question 5. List two biotic components of a biosphere. Answer. Two biotic components of a biosphere are I. Producers include organisms which can produce their food using simple inorganic compounds. Example, all green plants, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. 2. Consumers include organisms which are unable to synthesize their food, therefore utilize materials and energy stored by the producers or eat other organisms. Example, all the animals. Question 6. Why are green plants called producers? Answer. Green plants are called producers because they manufacture their own food with the help of CO2 and H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Question 7. In a food chain of frog, grass, insect and snake, assign trophic level to frog. Answer. In the given food chain, frog belongs to the third trophic level as shown here. Question 8. Why do producers always occupy the first trophic level in every food chain? Answer. Producers are the green plants that can manufacture food using CO2 and H2O in the presence of sunlight, i.e., they are autotrophs. They serve as a source of food for all non-producers or consumers directly or indirectly. Hence, producers occupy the first trophic level in a food chain. Question 9. We often use the word environment. What does it mean? Answer. Environment can be defined as the physical or biological world where an organism lives. Literally speaking, an organism's immediate surrounding constitutes its environment, which includes both biotic and abiotic components around him. Question 10. Which of the following are always at the second trophic level of food chains? Carnivores, autotrophs, herbivores. Answer. Herbivores always occupy the second trophic level of food chains. Question 11. The following organisms form a food chain. Which of these will have the highest concentration of non-biodegradable chemicals? Name the phenomenon associated with it. Insects, hawk, grass, snake, frog. Answer. Among the following organisms of the food chain, hawk being top consumer is present at topmost trophic level, hence will have the highest concentration of non-biodegradable chemicals due to a phenomenon known as biomagnification. Question 12. List 2 examples of natural ecosystem. Answer. The 2 examples of natural ecosystem are times forest ecosystem, times river ecosystem. Question 13. What is meant by the term biomass? Answer. Biomass is the total amount of living or organic matter in an ecosystem at any time. Question 14. Bacteria and fungi are called decomposers. Why? Answer. Bacteria and fungi are called decomposers because these microorganisms break down the complex organic matter present in dead plants and animals into simpler substances. Question 15. In a food chain, if 10,000 joules of energy is available to the producer, how much energy will be available to the secondary consumer to transfer it to the tertiary consumer? Answer. According to 10% law, 10% of the energy of producer will be available to primary consumer and 10% of this energy will be available to secondary consumer and so on. Hence, 100 joules of energy will be available to the secondary consumer to transfer it to tertiary consumer. Question 16. Consider the following food chain which occurs in a forest. Grass, deer, lion. If 10,000 joules of solar energy is available to the grass, how much energy would be available to the deer to transfer it to the lion? Answer. The energy available to the deer is 1000 joules to transfer it to the lion. This can be depicted as follows. Question 17. What is meant by biological magnification? Answer. Biological magnification or biomagnification refers to the process of accumulation of non-biodegradable chemicals, pesticides, etc. into the body of organisms through the food chain which go on increasing in its concentration at each trophic level. Question 18. Give an example to illustrate that indiscriminate use of pesticides may result in the degradation of the environment. Answer. Pesticides are the chemicals used to kill plant and animal pests. They are non-biodegradable and toxicants. For example, excessive use of DDT resulted in reduced population of fish-eating birds. DDT accumulated in such birds through the food chain. It interfered with the egg shell formation. The shell being thin broke due to weight of the bird during incubation. Hence, their population declined. Question 19. What are decomposers? List 2 important roles they play in the environment. Answer. Decomposers are microorganisms including bacteria and fungi which decompose or break down the complex organic compound present in dead plants and animals into simpler substances. Role of decomposers in environment are: times they help in decomposing dead bodies of plants and animals and hence act as cleansing agents of environment. Times they help in recycling of materials in the ecosystem, low maintain its stability. Question 20. List 2 reasons to show that the existence of decomposers is essential in an ecosystem. Answer. The existence of decomposers in an ecosystem is essential because if there were no decomposers, then the dead bodies of plants and animals would keep lying as such, and the elements constituting plant and animal bodies would never be returned to their original pools like soil, air and water. In such case, the organic waste go on accumulating, and the cyclic process of life and death would be disrupted. 2. Decomposers make the soil fertile by providing replenishing nutrients to it, thus forming the integral part of ecosystem. Question 21. State with reason any 2 possible consequences of elimination of decomposers from the earth. Answer. Consequences of elimination of decomposers are: there would be no recycling of nutrients and therefore, raw materials to produce food will not be available to producers. Hence, the food chains will get affected. 2. The dead bodies of plants and animals will go on accumulating in the absence of decomposition, thereby polluting the environment. Question 22. What does a trophic level represent in a food chain? State the position of autotrophs and herbivores in a food chain. Answer. Trophic level represents each of several hierarchical levels of a food chain operating in an ecosystem, consisting of organisms sharing the same function in the food chain and the same nutritional relationship to the primary sources of energy. The position of producers, or autotrophs, in a food chain constitute the first trophic level. They fix up sun's energy and make it available for consumers. The herbivores or primary consumers, which feed upon plants, constitute the second trophic level in a food chain. Question 23. A. From the following group of organisms create a food chain which is most advantageous for human beings in terms of energy. Hawk, rat, cereal plant, goat, snake, human being. B. State the possible disadvantage if the cereal plant is growing in soil rich in pesticides. C. Construct a food web using the organisms mentioned above. Answer. A. A food chain which is most advantageous for human beings in terms of energy is cereal plant human being. B. If the cereal plant is growing in soil rich in pesticides, these pesticides are absorbed by growing plants along with water and minerals. When animals eat these cereal plants, these poisonous chemical pesticides go into their bodies through food. This increase in concentration of harmful pesticides in the body of living organisms at each trophic level of a food chain is called biological magnification. Pesticides are lethal to non-target species also. The extensive use of pesticides in agriculture can change the community of microorganisms living in soil. Question 24. A. Create a food chain of the following organisms: insect, hawk, grass, snake, frog. B. Name the organism at the third trophic level of the created food chain. C. Which organism of this food chain will have the highest concentration of non-biodegradable chemicals? D. Name the phenomenon associated with it. E. If 10,000 joules of energy is available to frogs, how much energy will be available to snakes in this food chain? Answer. A. Grass, insect, frog, snake, hawk. B. Frog is present in the above created food chain. C. Hawk is the top consumer of the food chain, so it will have high concentration of non-biodegradable chemicals. D. Biological magnification. E. As per 10% law of flow of energy in an ecosystem, only 10% of energy is received by the next profit level. Hence, in the given food chain, if 10,000 joules of energy is available to frog, then the energy available to snakes will be 1000 joule. Question 25. A. What is an ecosystem? B. List any two natural ecosystems. C. We do not clean ponds or lakes, but an aquarium needs to be cleaned regularly. Why? Answer A. An ecosystem is defined as a structural and functional unit of the biosphere comprising of living organisms and their non-living non-living environment. B. Two examples of natural ecosystem are pond ecosystem and grassland ecosystem. C. Ponds or lakes, being natural ecosystems, are self-sufficient and do not need to be maintained regularly. On the other hand, aquarium, being an artificial ecosystem, needs to be cleaned and maintained regularly as it contains mainly fishes as living organisms, as compared to natural ecosystems where presence of other organisms maintains a balance. Also, because the producers and decomposers are absent in aquarium, the fish waste or excretory products, i.e., ammonia, may turn into toxic compounds and accumulate to dangerous levels, causing the fishes to die. Hence, the artificial ecosystems like aquarium needs to be cleaned regularly.